Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here, and I've just been to see Pixar's newest animated feature, Coco. This movie is set in Mexico and follows a little boy called Miguel who loves music, enjoys listening to it, enjoys playing it, but his family despises music because Miguel's great-great-grandfather left their family to pursue a music career. When Miguel finds out that his great-great-grandfather is actually his biggest music hero, he decides to pursue a music career himself. However, Miguel ends up in the land of the dead where he meets his family, and he can only come back to the world of the living if his family can give him a blessing. But his family will only give him a blessing to return home if he promises to never play music again. This angers Miguel, and he decides to go and find his great-great-grandfather to give him the blessing instead, because it'll be less likely that there'll be any conditions involved. And he gets some help from a cheeky dead guy called Hector. When I first saw the trailer for this movie, I wasn't that hooked. I wasn't too sure what I was supposed to be excited about, besides pretty visuals. But after watching the film, I can now see why the trailers cut out so much. Because there's a big twist in the movie that provides the film's main chunk of emotional weight and fleshy storytelling. And unfortunately, I can't really say what this twist is, and I do understand why the trailers decide to cut down so much, even though it gives them sort of a disadvantage. To my surprise, the movie is legitimately capable of moving and impressing its audience. This really is a stellar, staggeringly good movie. This is a film that has replaced the position of Best 2017 Animated Movie to me. It's such a shame that the UK had to wait this long to see this film. So the first thing I really like about this movie is that it creates a really exciting land of the dead. A living, breathing world that you can totally believe in. You can see everyone functioning and getting on with their lives. Nothing feels staged. It all feels so real. And I like that the film doesn't stop to provide a load of convoluted exposition to explain this world. It just lets you live in it to understand it. And that is such fantastic storytelling. This is also a very vibrant looking movie. It's so colourful without being too obnoxious about its colour palette. I like that Mexico looks warm and gorgeous, while the land of the dead is really vibrant and popping with energy. But it's not just the setting that I like about this film. I do really admire the lessons it has to teach. It doesn't really pick a side in this family drama. It doesn't say, well, that family member's right, that family member's wrong, this is the lesson. No, it actually says, look, we can see it from both sides. The movie teaches us that you don't have to pick just one way to live your life. You don't have to look at life and think, well, it's either family or the thing I love to do. You can have them both in your life, and I love that the movie is teaching you, enthusiastically, that you can have a compromise. And because these characters are so richly developed and full of so much dimension, we don't think that their motives are one note. They have something more to them that explains the way they feel. And I also love how this movie gives us this really sweet message that our loved ones are looking over us in some way, no matter how many generations it's been, and that you should remember those people because they're a part of who you are. That is a beautiful sentiment. Annoyingly, I can't say what the other lesson is in the film without spoiling it. That's so frustrating. I really want to explain what makes this film so great, but I also don't want to give away the twist that's going to make you really appreciate the film. At no point in this film did I feel as if that this movie was manipulating me. Everything comes off as sincere and honest. I didn't feel as if the movie was trying too hard to tug on my heart. It was just playing out naturally. It was telling its story in a really organic way. In a way that made me care about these characters, want to see them reconcile as a family. And because of this, the tears that came out of my eyes didn't feel forced. It felt as if that the film earned those tears. And that means a lot. Of course, a big part of this movie is the music, and it's wonderful music. I really enjoyed it. It doesn't matter what song it is, There is so much weight behind the way the song is being played. There's meaning to it. It's not just a musical number for the sake of a musical number. It's there to progress the story or show a character speaking from the heart. And Miguel is supposed to be sort of a child prodigy. And luckily, his style of performing and singing actually impressed me, and I believed that everyone around him was wowed by his abilities and talents that he'd cooked up behind his family's backs. Now, before I end this review, I think I should address the elephant in the room. A lot of people have accused this film of being a rip-off of Book of Life based on the trailers. And while I have seen this movie and can say that's not the case, I do understand why people have made that assumption based on the trailers, because even I felt like that. There wasn't really anything in the trailers that made me think, oh wow, this is gonna break new grounds, this is completely different to Book of Life. But again, it's not really the trailer editor's fault. They're kind of limited to what they can do, because they can't give away the parts of the film that make it so different to Book of Life. But at no point did I believe that Pixar were directly trying to rip off Book of Life, because A, the filmmakers behind Book of Life even said no, they're very different movies. B, this is Pixar. This is a studio that's renowned for avoiding adaptations because they want to come up with their own ideas. And C, Pixar are a mainstream company that everyone knows about in the age of the internet, not an independent mockbuster company that can sneak in a rip-off movie. Oh, and D, Book of Life didn't invent the cultural Mexican event known as Day of the Dead. So yeah, I understand the assumptions that this looks like Book of Life, but I don't believe that Pixar deserve to be labelled as copycats. That's just ridiculous. Heck, I would say that Coco is an improvement on Book of Life, a film that I found to be pretty boring because it put style over substance. Book of Life didn't make an impression on me because I couldn't really connect to the film emotionally, unlike Coco. To conclude, go watch Coco. In all honesty, the trailers for this movie do not give it justice. You have to give it a chance. This is a beautiful, sincere, and gorgeous film that really struck a chord with me. It really did. I've been Jambareeqi and I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, then feel free to subscribe to my channel because I make a lot of videos quite like this one. Also, consider making a monthly pledge to my Patreon in return for awesome rewards. Thank you. Cheerio, folks.
Voy a cantar esta canción con mucho cariño de mi corazón a la República Dominicana, la casa del merengue y la casa de la bachata.